the kitchen. I'm Chef Victoria Love, and today we're gonna make a spicy gingerbread. It's the holiday season, and of course, everybody loves gingerbread. And this one, I put a little bit of black pepper in it to give a little bit of spice. And of course, ginger, cinnamon, cloves, allspice, flour, and I have this beautiful kosher sea salt, but of course, regular salt is fine, vanilla, molasses, baking soda, baking powder, eggs, and butter. So let me get everything mise en place, and I will show you how to make it.
Please click like and subscribe so we can bring you more recipes.
When your butter is soft enough that you can squeeze it, then you know you're ready to start making the batter. So put this into your stand mixer with the paddle attachment. As soon as your butter is nice and soft, you can add in your light brown sugar, 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons tightly packed. Make sure you scrape down the sides of the bowl and the paddle attachment periodically so you can make sure all the ingredients are incorporated. Once the butter and sugar have completely mixed, we're now going to add in 1 egg at a time, and I like to use a liquid measuring cup with the lip. Makes it easy to pour in. Before you add the next egg, make sure the first egg is completely mixed and then add it in and mix it on low speed until combined. Next, we're going to add in our 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Now we're going to add in our 1/2 cup of molasses. While that's mixing on the stand mixer, we're gonna mix together our dry ingredients. And here we have a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 1 tablespoon of ground ginger, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves, and 1 teaspoon of ground allspice, a 1/2 teaspoon of our kosher sea salt, and again, table salt is perfectly fine, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And we're going to stir together all of these dry ingredients. Before we add all of our dry ingredients, you're going to scrape down the sides of the bowl and the paddle attachment. And then we're going to add this all in at once. So just be careful you don't spill it all over the counter. Once everything's in, you're just going to pulse it on by turning it on and off, because otherwise the flour tends to go all over the place. And then we're going to mix it till it's just combined. We're going to now wrap our dough, and we're going to make it into small packets, just about that size, and with saran wrap. Put it in the refrigerator and let it chill for a minimum of 1 hour before we can start to roll it out and cut our cookie shapes. Here's our packet of gingerbread dough. We're going to unwrap it, and then I'm going to lightly dust the parchment paper with a little bit of flour and a little bit on our rolling pin, and we're going to roll this till it's a 1/4 inch thick. A very light dusting. You don't want a lot because it tends to stay on the cookie. So when you bake the cookie dough with the flour on it, it tends to not disappear into the cookie. So you don't want to put a lot. And I like to use parchment paper because I can turn it over and roll it. So what I like to do is keep rolling this out and rotating every few rolls. So we're going to do rolling back and forth in this direction, and we keep rotating it. If you find that the dough is sticking to the parchment paper, the great thing about parchment paper is that you just peel it right off. And if you need to, you then can put down another light dusting of some flour. So this is going to take a couple of minutes. We're going to keep rolling it back and forth, and you want to make sure you're evenly applying the pressure to the dough, because you don't want to have one edge that's really thin and the middle fat. So make sure, I usually prefer to put the palm of my hand on top of the rolling pin and roll it back and forth gently. If you find that your edges are cracking, pinch them back. All right, and it's like working with Play-Doh. I keep rotating. There we go. So this is the thickness that I like it to be. Gingerbread is really strong. That's why you can make a gingerbread house out of it. So it doesn't need to be too thick. Whereas I like my butter cookie dough to be about 1/3 of an inch. This is about 1/4 of an inch thick. There we go. And so now I can cut out my cookies. And if you notice, when you're cutting your cookies, you want to make sure that you space them right next to each other because it takes so long to roll out the cookie dough. You don't want to have to constantly be rolling it out over and over again. So I place them as close as I possibly can so I am not wasting. And of course, remove the excess with our offset spatula. Go underneath the entire cookie because otherwise it might stick to the parchment paper, and gently lift it off so it does not tear. And then we transfer it over to our sheet pan that I have lined with parchment paper, or you could have it with a silicone mat underneath. And of course, if you ever have a spot that is too small for this size, I have these little ones too, so we can do both sizes. Bake in a 325-degree oven for 12 to 14 minutes, rotating the sheet pans front to back and top to bottom, and they will bake evenly. For more recipe demonstrations, please click like and subscribe to Chef Victoria Loves YouTube channel and have fun in the kitchen. Thank you.